Let's watch Inside the Lincoln Project.
The president now infected with the novel coronavirus. There isn't much in this election year that can be described as normal, but among the most abnormal is that a group of lifelong Republicans, political strategists for Republican candidates for the last 30 years, have banded together to mount a rogue offensive aimed at defeating the sitting president of their own party. They call themselves the Lincoln Project, named for the party of Lincoln, which they allege has gone so dangerously astray under President Donald Trump that they've decided to take the strategic and ad-making firepower they've trained for years on Democrats and turn it against their own.
These guys are scumbags. They are all just as racist as every other Republican that they now shit on. There is no indication that they have learned from their past mistakes or have repented for their sins. They just simply could not get jobs in the Trump administration. No, don't say turncoats. I have no problem with turncoats if they're like legitimate. I think Peter Dow is a turncoat from the neoliberal side to a leftist, and I like him. But isn't the enemy of my enemy my ally in this case? I mean, overall, I just don't care. Like, I don't think the Lincoln Project is actually moving the needle. Like, I don't think that they do a good job with bringing people around. And I think that the counter to that, the worst part of this process is that they are also rehabilitating the image of this like old Republican Party that actually was interested in doing their civic duty when that is not the case. Republicans are evil across the board, period. Most Democrats are evil too, but Republicans are like really, 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 really evil. And I hate any initiative that tries to make it seem like they're so much different than Donald Trump when the Republican Party is Donald Trump's party. It has always been Donald Trump's party. The problem here is Donald Trump is also incompetent beyond what other administrations in the past have done. When it comes to cruelty, they are all the same. Any liberal that looks at the Lincoln Project and thinks that they are doing a good job and that like, oh, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, doesn't matter. Okay, their entire purpose is to make it seem like there are some good Republicans, and there is no such thing. There is no such thing as a good Republican, and I mean professional Republicans. Obviously, people that vote Republican, people that vote Democrat, some are good, some are bad. That doesn't matter. I'm not talking about people who have been duped. I'm talking about the professionals. No such thing as a good Republican if they are professional Republicans, okay?
Some of the most gut-punching, bare-knuckled, and most wide...
John McCain wasn't too bad. Exactly why I say all Republicans are scumbags. John McCain was a gigantic scumbag, okay? One of the biggest financial criminals in the Senate, and you're like, oh, he's all right. No, he's a piece of shit.
Viewed anti-Trump ads of this election season...
Trump failed America.
...have not come from the Biden campaign. They've come from the Lincoln Project, trying to...
Again, these ads do not have a measurable impact on anyone beyond the DC wonk class and beyond people that live in like California and like liberal safe havens who love hearing about how their Republican friends have turned to the Democratic Party. It's just to make liberals feel like there is a big constituency of never Trump Republicans when that is not the case. And also, they literally play these ads not on swing states, but on these areas in the DC for the DC Beltway crowd and for the New York and California liberals. That's the reason why these ads are played in those areas. It is literally for Twitter. It's for the Twitter. It's for the political people on Twitter. It's bullshit. It sucks. Oh, sorry. They run ads. They now run ads in swing states. But hold on. But wait, there's more. They didn't used to run ads in swing states. They got called out. I guess they changed it. But also, their ads talk about how Orange Man is a doo-doo butt and doo-doo man bad. And I remember showing you guys an analysis a couple days back that like those types of ads do not have a positive impact on voters one way or the other. It's like one of the worst like talking points that you can actually put out there is like Donald Trump is bad. He's really bad. He's a doo-doo butt, rather than focusing on policy positions.
And this week they pounced with a biting ad.
The truth is, I will
His name is Hasan.
A parody of the hit Evita that's gone viral.
They're the least effective ads.
We are in a war for the soul of this country.
Steve Schmidt, one of the founders of the Lincoln Project, is a longtime Republican strategist who worked in the George W. Bush White
These guys literally, when confronted with the reality of their war crimes under the Bush administration, or all the horrible things that they did as far as like agitating against vote by mail. Sam Cedar has a really good take on this, Mr. Pause at Sam Cedar, where he talks about how these guys are responsible for all of the narratives that Donald Trump relies on right now. Now they're literally attacking Donald Trump for the same narratives that all of these rat fucks actually built in to the Republican Party communication strategies. They literally are attacking the same shit that they cultivated and created personally.
How did serious Republicans decide to go rogue?
We all had a conviction that there are millions of Republicans who look at this debacle and reject it. And what we thought we could do is talk to those voters in the language and the iconography that they understand, connect with them and persuade them, many of them, to vote for the Democratic nominee for the first time in their lives.
Have you lost friends over this?
For sure, of course.
But I just want to point out something here. So he ran John McCain's campaign. Can anyone remind me what the most significant thing was from the John McCain campaign? Not the bomb Iran. Not the Obama is a good man, he's not a Muslim, because, you know, Muslims are not good men narrative, or any number of different things that John McCain originally was in support of and then was against because of Obama, climate change. Can you guys remind me one really important thing that they did in the John McCain campaign? Oh, yeah. The foundation. Building the foundation of like the just the complete psychotic Tea Party movement by elevating one of those psychotic right-wing populists, elevating them to the VP slot. Yeah, Sarah Palin, baby. Not to be confused with Lisa Ann playing Sarah Palin in the popular pornography Nailin' Palin. The OG Milky Mommy. A woman who was a heartbeat away from the presidency if John McCain had won. That's Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin, you can literally draw a direct line from Sarah Palin getting the VP nod there to Donald Trump becoming the president. So this guy perhaps is single-handedly more responsible for the psychotic fascist agitprop that's coming out of the Republican Party than anyone else. So miss me with that bullshit like, oh, don't you know, it's crazy. We've lost the soul of this nation. Oh, okay. Now on to this dipshit. What's his name? Rick Wilson or whatever?
PAC in December with 7 co-founders, including Rick Wilson.
Yeah, Rick Wilson, famous for looking like that guy from Breaking Bad. This guy is a huge racist and has always been a huge racist. You could like go and find all of his tweets. Every single thing that you're talking about with Republicans using racial agitation. Like they're all, they didn't come out of nowhere. I mean, here, the Muslim community is pissed at the FBI. Dear FBI, more please. More student visas for the Muslim world. What could possibly go wrong? Let me get this right. We're expected to constantly apologize for slavery, racism, American Indians, and disco. Muslims? Nothing. Is this all that's left, England, from we shall defend our island, whatever cost, to look away, dear? They're Muslims. Mustn't offend. Oh, here's George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's husband. Just to be clear, and in response to inquiries, I still very, very strongly support POTUS's admin policies and the executive order. Here's the deal. I don't care what flavor of Islam these dicks are. The flavor that needs to be is bleeding out of a hole in their temple. Love it, retweeting Gavin McInnes. I wrote this on Why Punks Make Great Conservatives. Waiting for our oh-so-diligent media to tell me who is paying for the PR people with the Newton families. These are the very same people that were doing the exact same messaging that Donald Trump is doing. Now, this isn't cancel culture. This isn't like looking at old tweets to be like, I can't believe you. This is to show you that these people are personally responsible for Donald Trump's messaging right now. Donald Trump is a demagogue. He might be personally racist, but the reason why the Republican Party operates in the way that they do is because of these people in positions of power that 100% utilized that messaging to win broader support in the working class in America by using racial agitation, by pointing the finger at red herrings, and also grossly expanding our surveillance state. They're horrific Islamophobes. They're racist as fuck. So for them to turn around and be like, oh, we just hate Trump's racism, is silly, because they themselves are responsible in a really meaningful way for a populist and racist leader like Donald Trump to take control over the Republican Party.
George Conway, conservative lawyer and husband of Kellyanne Conway, herself recently diagnosed with COVID-19, and Reed Galen, who worked on both George W. Bush's campaigns. together more than 200 years of Republican Party activism.
Like, some of these people literally stole the election, personally stole the election, or at least the Florida results, from Al Gore. They literally personally did this. And now they're acting like they want to re-elect they want to elect a Democrat. Like, it's nuts. That guy that worked for George H.W. Bush, like, that guy is horrible.
Yes.
Rick Wilson is in charge of the ads. Who are you aiming for? What kind of a voter?
So those independent-leaning men, those college-educated Republicans.
There is not a bigger made-up narrative than never Trump Republicans. Throughout Donald Trump's entire 4 years in office, his approval rating amongst the Republican voters has, I think, dipped below 90% 3 times. These guys are just extracting wealth from the center-right liberal base of voters that vote for the establishment Democrats, that love to have these sorts of people in their circles, who then turn around and say, well, I have a lot of diversity in opinion. I mean, after all, we have Republicans in our, we have Republicans sucking on hors d'oeuvres at our, big profile elitist parties, as well as Democrats do. After all, we just want what's best for America. I mean, come on. Like, that's it. That's their entire purpose. These guys are just taking as much money as they can from dumbass liberals who just want to feel good about a non-existent base of support, actually turning heel and like leaving the Republican Party and like voting for Joe Biden. They're doing kind of the same grift that Tim Pool does, but on the other side, okay? Tim Pool likes to make Republicans feel like he is a Democrat that is voting for Donald Trump. These guys are actually Republicans that make it seem like they're going to vote for Joe Biden. Some of them might actually even vote for Joe Biden. It doesn't matter, though. Ultimately, they're still Republicans and conservative through and through. And their entire purpose is to make a lot of these uptight liberals feel better about themselves because, oh my God, even Republicans, smart Republicans agree with me that my candidate is much better than the other one. Ultimately, never forget, all Republicans are evil as fuck. They all work to advance Donald Trump's agenda, and Donald Trump's agenda is the Republican Party's agenda. It always has been. It's not a chicken or the egg situation. Donald Trump is literally very rarely ever strayed away from the Republican agenda. The notable exceptions being tariffs on China, but that's pretty much it.
I mean, look, Leslie, we've gone from caring about character, rule of law, defending the Constitution, a cogent national security policy, free trade. Where are all those issues? Imagine if you travel the country for 30 years fighting for Republican principles, and you learn it was all a lie. No one cares about all the issues that we fought for.
How painful is it for you to turn against the Republican Party?
Yikes! Neoliberals are just as filthy and stupid as the same vulturous, immoral Republicans that they interview, okay? I hate this. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. What the f is wrong with you? Why do you extend a crumb of relevance to these f***ing sickos, dude? I hate centrists. I actually hate centrists so much. Oh, how devastating was it when the Republican Party did not want to use you because Trump had his own style and his own consultants. So they didn't want to use you. So you decided, fuck the Republicans. And that there isn't all that much difference between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. So we'll go and take money from Republicans then. Oh, how much did it hurt your fee-fees? This guy's an actual neoliberal, not a meme neoliberal. Exactly. Exactly.
Do you ever sit around and talk about you're repudiating your life in a way?
Oh
yeah,
my
of course we do.
God, no, they're not. No, they're not. And Ammo JD is correct. That's not a new development, though. When I worked in government, we all attend the same events, etc. The money people don't care what side you're on. Exactly. That's why they give funds to each side almost evenly and only change the money faucet in one way or the other, depending on who's winning or what they can get out of the winners. Okay? Wake up, everybody. The people in DC are not actually genuinely, legitimately one side over the other. Okay? There's only one side that they care about, and that's the money side. And the same, by the way, this is the same in media too. I despise a lot of these people that I talk about in reality, okay? Like I despise them. When I get to sit side by side with them, when I'm going to do a TV appearance or something, in the ad breaks, I don't actually buddy up to them or cozy up to them. I shit on them. I told Larry Elder, how does it feel to be a black conservative that doesn't get as much mileage because the other black conservatives that actually do get popularized under the Trump administration are literal white supremacists. You don't go as mask off as they do, so you are irrelevant. I literally said that to Larry Elder on an ad break because I am not his friend. I'm not going to be his friend, and same with like all these other people that I was that I've appeared side by side with. But that, in my personal experience, especially like going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, that weekend was the worst experience that I've ever had in my entire life, because all of those people, they love each other. Okay, they get so stoked when Scaramucci, they get so hype when Scaramucci enters the room with Kellyanne Conway. They're like, oh my god, like every liberal journalist, all these other people, like there are very few people in media that I like. You know who I like. I have them on here all the time.
The day it was released, the ad got more than 500,000 views. Among them, the president, who unleashed a tweet storm at 12:46 a.m., calling the Lincoln Project losers.
Mr. President, do you want to make any comment about this Lincoln Project ad?
Yeah, no, I saw it. It's a group of major losers. They're Republican losers, and they should call it the Losers Project. Okay, thanks.
The president attacked all of us.
You got him. Dude, come on. Come on. I love... God, he's so stupid, but he's so entertaining. Jesus Christ. He's such a baby. Like, he's such a big, wet baby. Ah, Lincoln Project. I call it the Losers Project.
Called us losers, and we raised $2 million in 48 hours.
Yeah. By the way, the Lincoln Project reported spending nearly $1.4 million through March. Almost all that money went to the group's board members and firms run by them. The super PAC spent nearly $1 million with Summit Strategic Communications, a firm run by the treasurer Reed Galen. Another $225 went to Tusk Digital, a company run by Lincoln Project advisor Ron Steslow. Both companies received little business from other federal committees since Trump's inauguration. Wow. Wow. Good job, guys. Keep giving them money, which, by the way, they turn around and fund into predominantly ad buys in the DC circle. Very cool. It's literally a cycle. It's the cycle of grift that keeps the grift alive.
He bought us instant credibility.
And gave them a strategy.
Here's what Trump's own people are saying about him.
Create ads deliberately designed.
He's an idiot. John Kelly, Trump's chief of staff.
To get under the president's skin.
I don't think he's fit for office. I have the most loyal people.
Some crusty ex-coal miner who was a union guy who voted for Obama twice and then voted for Donald Trump is not going to turn around and be like, oh, goddamn, John Bolton said that Donald Trump is a doo-doo head. Well, I guess, yeah, I guess I'm going to go vote for these pussies now on the Democratic side, because these centrist dipshits who I already despise, the old guard of the Republican Party who I already despise when I was a Democrat and still do because Donald Trump shits on him all the time. Yeah, those guys actually convinced me. What did Lib Bizzle say? This is the only thing they've done to add any value to this election. They've gotten into his thread by spending millions on ads placed in between Fox News shows. Yeah.
Fox News in Washington, D.C. with Fox and friends, Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity, every night.
Is that because he watches? Or?
Yes, because we know he's in the residence with his Super TiVo watching.
Again, these are idiotic ad buys, okay? These ad buys are so idiotic, Brad Parscale did them. You want to know why? Remember when I criticized Brad Parscale's ad buy strategy? When I said, what a strange thing that he's doing, buying Republican TV ads in Washington, D.C. Why would anyone in the right mind ever, and I mean ever, do ad buys in D.C. as a Republican? What a strange thing to do. Do you think they're going to swing it? Do you think that's why? You think DC is going to be blue? No, they're doing that because they wanted to please Donald Trump, just like these dipshits are doing that also hurt Donald Trump or hurt his fifis. That's it.
Every time Donald Trump loses his mind and throws things at the wall because a Lincoln Project ad is up, that takes the whole campaign off track. There's one thing you never get back in a campaign, and that's a lost day.
Are you concerned that you're stooping to the president's level?
Oh, God, I hate
being mean.
I'm sorry, dude. I hate liberals so much.
I hope so.
Like that. This is the reason why I hate them. Like her reaction is the reason why I hate them. Okay. Oh, are you being mean to Donald Trump? Are you stooping to his level? No, I like being mean to Donald Trump. Oh, that's so funny. This is like literally just like circle jerk all the way.
Do-gooder instinct to say, oh, I hate negative ads. People do hate negative ads, but negative ads work.
That's right. The worst part about it, you want to know the worst part? These guys are actually good strategists. These motherfuckers are actually good. If they wanted to make good negative ads that truly went against their worldview and their principles, they would be pumping negative ads in swing states that correspond to the actual messaging required for them to be effective, okay? They would be running negative ads about Donald Trump trying to dismantle the Affordable Care Act. They would be running negative ads about Donald Trump saying he's going to take down Social Security for old people. They do it every now and then, but usually most of their work revolves around, ooh, Orange Man bad. Isn't that funny? That's great. If they weren't such cynical grifters who with the entire purpose of just trying to line their pockets with liberal cash because they're pissed off that the Donald Trump campaign did not want to work with them, the old guard, they 100% could effectively launch negative ads.
Much of the focus here in the home stretch is on this team led by Mike Madrid, former political director of the California Republican Party. They run the day-to-day strategy and ad targeting in an expanding number of battleground states.
One of those sons of bitches is literally in here, by the way. One of those young like staffers or whatever, one of those people is 100% in here. And I'm suspecting that you're like a long-time subscriber too, because some of you constantly send me Lincoln Project videos and have been for a very long time.
Like
if I find out, dude, you're banned.
The real dividing line in the Republican Party is between college-educated and non-college-educated voters. And what we're seeing is when Donald Trump starts to push messages like law and order or defends, the Confederate flags and Confederate monuments, he does seem to be able to coalesce a small number of non-college educated workers in the Rust Belt states, but at the same time, he's pushing white college educated workers in the Sun Belt states out of his column.
This is true. And by the way, that's not because of the Lincoln Project. That's because of Donald Trump. So if you ever turn around and say that like Lincoln Project was responsible for this, by the way, that number is still, especially when you talk about Republicans, that number, like how many of those people are actually Republicans or Republican voters, that number is insignificant or not as significant as the way they make it seem. But if you were to ever turn around and be like, that's Lincoln Project's doing, f off, that's not the case.
Don't be fooled. The Lincoln Project wasn't founded by principled conservatives.
The Lincoln Project has
Oh, they were fake conservatives. Oh, got it. I didn't realize that the people that worked on the John McCain and George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush campaigns were actually the fake conservatives. Oh, thank you, dude. Wow. I mean, who was the conservative then? Like the Sig Heiling, leader of the American Nazi Party? Like, is that the only one who's a real conservative in this country? What are you, crazy? I've been agree and say the Sun Belt states will be what will cost Trump. These states have historically been considered swing states before. I'm young and only can remember Midwest manufacturing states and Florida, Virginia being the swing states. We'll see. The only place that I have conceded that Lincoln Project's messaging is Lincoln Project's messaging actually has a real constituency is Arizona. Even then, I don't know how big of a constituency there is for the Lincoln Project messaging for never term Republicans, but it's because of the unique nature of John McCain that so many wealthy suburbanites actually have never Trump leanings in the state of Arizona. According to 538, Trump has to win Arizona to win the election. Mike Madrid is a really good strategist, won a lot of tough races in blue territory for the GOP. I'm not saying they're bad strategists. I'm saying that they're piece of shit grifters. They are good strategists. They literally worked for the Republican Party. Of course they're good strategists. Republicans don't give a fuck. Like, they don't care. Like, if you win, you're on board, okay? It's not like the Democratic Party where you can be a strategist and win by being honorable in your defeat or something. You can fail upwards in the Democratic Party as a strategist, okay? You can absolutely fail upwards in the Democratic Party as a strategist. Look at every single person that has worked with Hillary Clinton, okay? Those people did not automatically all get fired. They all are still working in the Democratic Party, okay? So of course they're good. They're good strategists. It's just that it's annoying because they're only strategizing to annoy Donald Trump rather than actually trying to secure a victory for the Democrats because they don't have any democratic principles. They have no progressive principles. That's the whole point. Their understanding of their own base as Republicans is infinitely better than the Democratic consultants and the way that they understand their own base and what their base requires. But because the Democratic Party does not care about its own base, does not care about galvanizing its own base beyond like saying Orange Man bad or Republicans are terrifying, then that's the reason why you can have people that literally work for George W. Bush turn around and work for those liberals and get celebrated within those liberal circles.
But they've also drawn fire from some on the left for their own role in creating the Republican politics they now decry. Do you bear any responsibility, you personally, for bringing the country to where it is?
When I look at the party and I see what it's become, I think that I was naive about how deeply embedded the racism issue was in the party.
Were you naive when you literally weaponized racial agitation then? Motherfucker, you brought Sarah Palin to the table. Like, that's insanity. That's insanity to be like, oh, don't you know I was naive? I didn't know the Republicans were racist. Come on. Yeah, dude. I didn't realize the Republicans were racist when I literally tried to do everything I can to make sure that black people can't vote as a part of our electoral strategy. I didn't realize the Republicans were racist when I very actively shit on Muslims over and over again. That was just naivete, dude. That was total naivete on my part. Oops. Again, I'm gonna use Sam Cedar here. He has a really good take on this. It says, considerably more than some. 3 quick points. These guys will make plenty of money off this in future projects. They gave us prototype Trump, Sarah Palin, and Paul Ryan promoted the California mail-in results were suspicious narrative big time. Every single GOP operative is the reason why we have Donald Trump. And anyone who tries to tell you otherwise is doing a disservice. Here's Jank in 2018. Steve Schmidt attacks Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with dishonest progressivism, says as bad as Trumpism. I want to thank MSNBC for showing that they are the home of the establishment. They hate real progressives. Steve Schmidt is a tool. I didn't attack her motives or her intentions. Your anger and ignorance and dishonesty are simply the mirror of Trump's. You are as smug, arrogant, and as nasty as Stephen Miller and all the rest. You just wear a different jersey. Yes, the guy whose name you literally can't say, who's a brown Muslim immigrant, is the same as the guy who literally wants to purge the brown Muslim immigrants, and very openly so. Incredible. In that point, you got to be like, Steve, can you just say my name? How do you think you say my name? And then watch him be like, Chunk, why, Weezer?
My name is Keith Edwards. I am the communications director for the Lincoln Project. I work on social media. I work on our rapid response videos.
Don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it.
I think what people appreciate about the Lincoln Project is that we...
Pog, dude. Yo, they said it right. It's so funny. It's like, I mean, this is literally hashtag activism, dude. Hashtag activism.
We have founders that are very adept at how Twitter works, even though that might not have been something that they were thinking about immediately. It was definitely in the DNA of the project.
I hate them so much. I'll never trust them. Pervert. Half of them should be in jail. Most never Trump Republicans that were Bush era war criminals should literally be in jail right now. Or maybe they're serving out the end of their sentence and therefore have a pathway to rehabilitation as a consequence of their not that long jail sentence. Okay, that's the real justifiable just future that I would want to live in. And instead, we're like welcoming them with open arms and like actually celebrating George W. Bush and forgetting about his legacy. And half the time they just steal memes.